All right, welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So we've got this stack of sources, and today we are really zoning in on one specific place, Windermere, Florida. And these sources, they paint quite a picture, don't they? Luxurious, very family-friendly, top schools, these amazing lakes.
They really do. And that's our mission today, right? To unpack this guide, these excerpts, everything covering neighborhoods, golf, parks, schools, you name it.
All practical stuff, too.
Exactly. We want to give you a really clear, detailed sense of what living in Windermere might actually feel like in 2025, pulling out the important bits.
Yeah, I'm already hooked by just the initial descriptions, this blend of like real small town charm, but then bam, you're super close to Orlando. Walt Disney World is practically next door, 10, 15 miles, they say.
Yeah, quite the location.
And get that Florida climate, right? Mild winters, maybe 60s, hot summers, sure, around 90. But it means you can be outdoors pretty much constantly.
Oh, absolutely. And the sources we have, they give a pretty thorough snapshot. So whether you're actually thinking about moving or maybe just curious about this part of Central Florida, this deep dive should give you those key insights.
Okay, let's get into it then. Based on these sources, what's the core appeal? What's the big why for Windermere?
Well, the sources hammer home the luxurious lakeside setting. We're talking the Butler Chain of Lakes, famous chain.
Right.
So it's not just, nice views. It's actual recreation, boating, fishing right on your doorstep for many people there.
Okay.
And beyond the beauty, safety comes up a lot. The crime rate is cited as 54% lower than the national average.
Wow, 54%. That's significant, especially if you're looking with family in mind.
Definitely. And that ties into the community feel the sources describe. It sounds tight-knit.
How so? What examples do they give?
They mention things like the local farmers market, there's an annual 5K run among the lakes, stuff like that, signs of a connected community.
Little events that bring people together.
Exactly. And like you said, you get that small town vibe, but then you've got all the resources of Orlando just, a short drive away. The Dr. Phillips Center for Arts, all that.
That is a powerful mix. What about the economic side? How does that fit in?
Well, the sources point to that proximity to Orlando's jobs and culture, and they project really strong job market growth, 50.1% by 2033.
That's a big number.
It is. Average salary listed around $77,000. And of course, you have massive employers like Disney and Universal right there.
Yep.
And this probably, feeds into the overall affluence reflected in the housing. The median home prices mentioned range from, say, $400,000 up to over $1 million, easily.
It's a huge range, $400K to over $1 million.
Yeah.
It suggests very different kinds of living experiences even within Windermere itself.
Absolutely.
So what do the sources tell us about the actual neighborhoods?
Yeah, they detail a few distinct areas. First up is Summerport Village, described as really geared towards families. Homes there typically priced, the sources say, between $400,000 and $800,000. It's near Windermere Prep School, near parks like Dr. P. Phillips Community Park. Some homes get lake views, too, of Lake Butler.
So more community-focused, maybe a bit more, dare I say, affordable within the Windermere bubble.
Relatively speaking, yes. That seems to be how the sources frame it, community value within the area.
Gotcha. What about the higher end, more explicitly luxurious?
Right. That leads us to Keene's Point. The sources flag this as a major gated community. It's right on Lake Tibet Butler, known for luxury homes.
Gated, okay.
Prices, they mentioned starting from $400,000, but let's be real, it probably goes up fast from there. It's packed with amenities.
Like what?
The Golden Bear Club golf course is in there. Playgrounds, trails, pools, tennis courts, a big clubhouse. It's pretty much a self-contained resort.
Wow.
Explicitly called out as great for, affluent families and serious golfers.
Makes sense. A whole lifestyle package. What's the third neighborhood highlighted?
That's Harbor Isle, another gated one, also waterfront. Homes are generally bigger here, built mostly in the 90s and early 2000s. Think 3,500 to 6,000 square feet.
Big places.
Yeah. And they mention the HOA fees around $2,000 a year. That's your homeowners association cost.
Right, for the shared stuff and upkeep.
Exactly. Harbor Isle is near places like the Grove at Isleworth and Restaurant Row. So it seems to appeal to people really wanting that exclusivity and direct lakefront living on a larger scale.
Okay, so Summerport for family community feel, Keene's Point for that all-inclusive golf lifestyle, and Harbor Isle for big exclusive waterfront homes. Gives a good sense of the variety. You mentioned golf there. Keene's Point has its own course. What else do the sources say about the golf scene? It seems pretty significant.
It is. Two big private courses get the spotlight. First, Isleworth Golf and Country Club, that's on Paine Stewart Drive.
Oh, yeah.
An Arnold Palmer design, championship level.
Arnold Palmer. Okay. Big name.
Very high-end. Luxury amenities beyond golf, too. Tennis, pools, strictly members only.
Sounds exclusive. And the other private one?
That's the Golden Bear Club at Keynes Point on Jack Nicholas Parkway. And guess who designed it?
Let me guess. Jack Nicholas.
You got it. Described as scenic, challenging, also have a clubhouse, fitness center, also private.
2 private clubs, top designers right in Windermere. But what if you're not a member?
Oh, sure.
Just visiting. Any public options nearby?
Well, here's a key detail from the sources. The Windermere Country Club on Butler Bay Drive, it's actually closed, described as overgrown, no plans to reopen mentioned.
Oh, okay. Good to know. So what can non-members play?
The sources list several options within about a 20-minute drive. There's Bay Hill Club and Lodge, that's resort private, West Orange Country Club and Orange Tree Golf Club, both listed as private. But there's also Stony Brook West Golf Course, which is listed as public.
All right, so there are alternatives nearby, including a public one. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Beyond the greens, what about just general parks and outdoor space? The sources covered the park system. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 6 main town parks are mentioned. Let's see. Cal Palmer Park, Fernwood Park, Lake Bessie Lakefront, Park Among the Lakes, Central Park, and the Windermere Recreation Center. Plus a nearby preserve.
Okay, quite a few. Any highlights or key things to know about them from the sources?
Well, Cal Palmer Park, not many details, just says it's open. But Fernwood Park and Lake Bessie Lakefront are interesting. They offer access to Lake Butler and Lake Bessie, including boat ramps.
Ah, boat ramps.
Yeah.
Key for lake living.
But here's the catch. The sources are very clear these ramps are for residents only. You need an annual park pass, costs $35 apparently. That gets you a gate code for Fernwood or an actual key for Lake Bessie.
Resident-only access requires a special pass.
Ah.
Okay, what about other amenities like tennis?
Yep. Park Among the Lakes has 3 courts, secured and lighted. Windermere Recreation Center also has 3, also secured and lighted.
Secured and lighted. Nice. Same deal with passes.
Seems so. A separate $25 annual tennis member pass gets you a key for those courts. The rec center also has a couple of pavilions you can rent out. Central Park has a pavilion too, but it's first come, first served.
Okay, so that theme continues. Premium amenities like boat ramps and lighted tennis courts are often resident exclusive and need specific passes. Do the sources say how you actually get these passes?
They do. You go to the administration office, 614 Main Street, Building 100, standard business hours, Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:00. Important note they included. No cash, no American Express accepted.
Good practical tip. Anything else about the parks?
Yeah, a couple of rules mentioned. No alcoholic beverages allowed in town parks per the town code. And they state that by being in the park, you consent to having containers inspected by Windermere PD.
Okay, good to know the local rules. And that preserve you mentioned, not a town park.
Right, that's the Tibet Butler Preserve. It's technically in Orlando, a bit outside Windermere town limits. Sources mention it as a good spot for hiking, seeing some wildlife, a different kind of nature experience.
Gotcha. So, town parks emphasize resident amenities, while the preserve offers broader access nearby. Okay, let's shift gears. Essential for families. Schools. What picture do the sources paint there?
They put it in the context of the Orange County Public Schools District first. Big district, almost 200,000 students, 264 schools. They note about a third of students are economically disadvantaged.
Okay, setting the scene.
Right. And within that large district, several Windermere area public schools really shine, according to the rankings and test scores provided.
Which ones stand out? Give us some names.
At the elementary level, Windermere Elementary and Keynes Crossing Elementary both get a 10 out of 10 rating in the sources. Top 5%, top 10% in the district, respectively. Really high proficiency rates mentioned, too, like 88% math, 84% reading for Windermere Elementary.
Wow, those are high numbers.
Yeah, and Keynes Crossing is up there, too, 77% math, 79% reading. Then you have Bay Lake Elementary, rated 9 out of 10, top 20%, and Sunset Park Elementary, 8 out of 10, top 30%. Still strong scores.
Those elementary results sound particularly strong, especially given the large district context. What about middle and high school levels?
Horizon West Middle gets an 8 out of 10, top 30%. Gotham Middle is a 6 out of 10, top 50%. And Windermere High School comes in at 7 out of 10, top 50%. Its proficiency rates are listed around 52% in math, 64% in reading.
Still respectable.
And the sources explicitly connect these strong schools, the high proficiency, the community support as a major reason families are drawn to Windermere.
Makes total sense. Schools are huge. What about private options? Any mention?
Yes, Windermere Preparatory School is highlighted as the top private choice. It's on Winter Garden Vineland Road. The sources cite its ranking from niche #1 private K-12 and high school in the Orlando area for 2025.
Number one, okay, niche is that review and ranking site, right?
That's the one. And Windermere Prep offers international baccalaureate programs, the IB curriculum, which is known for being pretty rigorous and globally recognized.
All right, the IB program. Okay, that covers schools well. Now let's talk food. Always important. What's the dining scene like, according to the sources?
They give a nice little list, updated for May 2025. There seems to be a cluster over at Summerport Village Parkway. You've got Manzzo Cuisine for Italian.
Authentic Italian, nice.
Kingdom Sushi Windermere for, well, sushi and Japanese food. And Pizza 14 for pizza and pasta. Sounds family-friendly.
Convenient having those together.
Yeah.
Any other standouts mentioned?
Yeah, a few others. Hawker's Asian Street Food on Conroy Windermere Road, Asian Fusion. Sounds vibrant. Boa Buns, steak skewers mentioned.
Oh, Hawker's is good.
Then there's Yellow Dog Eats on Hempel Avenue. Sounds kind of quirky. American food, craft burgers, sandwiches, laid-back vibe is how they describe it.
Funky, maybe.
Could be. And Agave Azul Windermere on Winter Garden Vineland Road for Mexican. They specifically call out street corn and birria tacos.
Okay. Sounds like a decent variety right in town. Different styles, different atmospheres.
For sure. And of course, the sources also nod to the fact that you have the entire Orlando restaurant scene just down the road to explore too. Even mentions food trucks at the mall at Millennia. So, plenty of options overall.
Right. You're never far from more choices.
Yeah.
Okay, we've covered a lot. The lakes, the different neighborhoods, golf, parks, schools, food. Let's bring it down to brass tacks. What are the key practical things the sources emphasize for someone considering Windermere?
Well, number one, they're upfront about it.
Oh.
The cost of living is higher than average. Significantly so in many cases.
We saw that with the housing range.
Exactly. That $400,000 starting point we mentioned earlier goes all the way up to waterfront mansions over $10 million. It's a huge spectrum, but the entry point is already pretty high.
So higher cost is definitely something to budget for. What else?
The job market focus, as we touched on, leans heavily towards hospitality and tourism. The average hourly wage cited is $19.55.
Okay.
And transportation-wise, it's definitely car dependent. You're going to need a car. But the upside is easy access to Orlando International Airport, only about 10 miles away, according to the sources.
Good airport access is always a plus. Okay, so wrapping up the picture painted by these sources, Windermere really comes across as this place defined by luxurious lakeside living, a strong community vibe, those top-tier schools, lots of recreation.
Right. The lakes, the parks.
Right, but balanced against, or maybe funded by, a notably higher cost of living and that specific economic focus.
That captures it well. It's a detailed snapshot of this specific spot in 2025, based purely on what these sources provide.
So here's a thought to leave you with based on everything we've just discussed. The sources put so much emphasis on the lakes, the safety, the resident-only perks, the gated communities, the top schools. How does a place like Windermere, which clearly values this specific, maybe even exclusive small-town meets luxury feel, how does it manage to keep that character?
Keep the charm.
Yeah. And protect its natural environment when facing the inevitable pressures of growth and development that come with being so desirable? Balancing exclusivity and charm with growth. It's definitely something to think about.